Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. As mentioned in my last video, if you haven't watched it, go and check it out. It is my nervous person guide to go into the Barbican to see Kiss Me Kate. It's time to chat about my thoughts, my feelings and everything in between surrounding this show. The review, if you will, although in my brain, is it a review? Probably not. Will I still give it a rating between 1 and 5? Definitely will. But yes, I am going to talk about this show. I'm also about to put the programme down because it is too big. I feel like I've had this problem with Barbican programmes in the past. Why are they so large? For reference, and not showing you an upcoming video, why is it big? Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's get into it. Kiss Me Kate at the Barbican. Let's go. So we are back at the Barbican for a third year. They just keep putting out bangers. Every summer for the last 3 years they put on this big production of a show, and over those 3 years I have gone and watched them. We had Anything Goes, we've had A Strange Loop, and now the trio is complete, if you will, with Kiss Me Kate. The ironic thing being that Kiss Me Kate is written, or the music and the lyrics are written by Cole Porter, who is the same person behind Anything Goes. Don't really love that. But Kiss Me Kate, let's get into it. Firstly, I am a massive fan of this show. I forget until I sit in the theatre and watch it how much I enjoy this show. It was first introduced to me by the BBC Proms. They did a full-on theatre BBC prom for Kiss Me Kate in 2014. It's still available on YouTube. I would 100% recommend going and checking it out because it was so great. I watched it through the telly because of Louise Dearman. It also introduced me to some other names, including Tony Yazbek, who I would love to come over and do something in this country, but that is just me. I then, and I've got it here because I've found it recently whilst organising my life, went to the Crucible in 2018 to go and watch Kiss Me Kate up there. It's the first and only time I've been to the Crucible, and the cast in that show included Becky Locke as the role of Kate, and there was Dex Lee in the show, there was Joel Montague on the show. The names in it were great. And now we have the Barbican production of 2024. So as soon as they were announced they're doing Kiss Me Kate, I was like, yes. Then they announced the cast and I was like, yes, yes. And I just like an excuse to go to the Barbican, even if every time I do go there I get lost. So a little bit about this production. This production has been directed by Bartlett Sher. I have previously seen a couple of other of his works, directorially, if you will, with The King and I, and also with My Fair Lady last year. So this is my third introduction, if you will, to Bartlett Sher directed show. The choreography in the show has been done by Anthony Van Last, and oh my goodness, was it something. It had its extreme dance moments, which I really enjoyed. Too Damn Hot in Act 2 was just that. Oh my goodness, it was insane. I really enjoyed everything that was done choreographically, not a word, but I made it so. And I just really enjoyed it. Another thing I enjoyed was the set. The set was designed by Michael Yegan, and it was a revolving set, so the majority of the set was on a revolve. So there was basically 3 different sets that they could spin round and show you, and they also all interlinked. It was just so clever. So there is the backstage set, if you will, so it's like the stage door. That then linked to, through one door it linked to Fred and Lily's dressing rooms, and through the other door it linked to like a stage space, which took on most of the taming of the shrew part of the plot. Because if you don't know Kiss Me Kate, it is essentially like a play in a play. So you have these characters who are also playing characters. So each person in the principals, except the gangsters, are 2 names. So for example, Lily Vanessa is also Kate, and so forth. But I really enjoyed the way that the set was done, but also because it was mainly this revolving set which could be slightly changed depending on what needed to happen. There was also pretty good view behind that revolving trio of sets to actual like backstage. So occasionally you just see someone running behind that to go and do what they needed to do, and I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was very cleverly set up in that way, and yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I also really enjoyed the costumes, which were done by Catherine Zuber, and also the wigs, hair and makeup by Sam Cox. I am a massive fan of like retro looks, and I'm always like so excited to see them on a stage. I don't know what it is, I just like to be a little bit vintage. Moving on to the cast. What a cast it was! Oh my goodness, I thought my previous cast viewing for the Crucible was excellent, and also prior to that the Proms cast that they put on was brilliant. This cast was something else. There is the principal cast, which, I mean, when this show was announced and they were like, coming to London to perform in a show for the first time is Stephanie J. Block, I was like, yes, get me a ticket, I will be there with bells on. I had the fortune to see her in a show at Cadogan Hall last year, and that was something special. And then to see her actually perform in a show in the UK, I was beyond happy. It's safe to say, and she just did the role so brilliantly. What I also really enjoyed is the way that when the show started there was like a hubbub of all the cast saying hello to each other as the overture played, and amongst everyone else there was Stephanie on the stage. And the thing when they put someone of that notoriety in the theatre world on a stage, you know that normally they'll enter and there'll be like a woo and like a big fuss. However, because she was already on the stage from the beginning, there wasn't the need to have that moment, which sometimes I feel like takes away from a show. For example, Heathers. I haven't seen it since it was at the Haymarket. However, when the big whoop comes out of the Heathers turning up, it just takes something away from a show. Again, story for a different day, but it was nice not to have that moment, even though of course she deserves it, but it's nice. Adrian Dunbar played Fred Graham / Petruchio. I have always had a love-hate relationship with the character of Fred Graham, because I understand him, but at the same time I just find him really annoying. I am not someone who has watched Line of Duty. I know I will sit in the corner and think about what I've just said, but I don't really know him as an actor, and I was looking through his credits in the interval. He has not been on stage before, or at least they haven't put it in his credits. So I didn't know what I was expecting. I was great, I was happy to listen to his voice. His singing voice is actually quite nice. It's a bit crooner like, a little bit like Sinatra, buttery feeling. There was one moment where he did mess up a lyric or two. I feel like he got slightly mixed up in during I've come to marry wealthily in Padua. Title needs to be shorter. He had one of his quick paced moments there in the verses. It does get da 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 ba 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 da 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 ba ba da 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 da. At one point the lyrics just didn't come to his brain, and he played it off very cleverly, and I really it's just the way he finished the verse once it had kind of gone wrong, and he just went jeez, or something to that effect. It just made me smile a little bit, but it just proves that everyone is human, and I quite enjoyed it. Still with the principals, we have Charlie Stemp, excellent as ever. I feel like that man can't play a bad role. I always enjoy watching Charlie dance, and the fact that they put him into Two Down Heart, I was happy with that choice, because Bill doesn't really need to be in that number in the show, as proven by the fact he literally legged it towards the end of the number. He literally was shook hands with Paul, climbed up the little spiral staircase, and off he went. But I really enjoyed that he was made part of that number. Although I do have to say his Lucencio, dodgy wig. I'm just gonna put it out there. I understand that they did it to make it look different between him as Bill and him as Lucencio, but I wasn't there for the Lucencio wig. That is a personal preference, and we're gonna move on. We also have Georgina Honorora. Apologies if I've just butchered that name. This was my first introduction to Georgina. I am aware that she's been in things in the past, but I have been unable to get there for previous reasons, or for different reasons should I say. Her vocals were absolutely beautiful, and I really enjoy the role of Lois Lane. Let's think about it, and I loved Georgina in it. I loved her in that role. There we go. And finally, under the principal bracket, if you will, you have the aforementioned gangsters. The gangsters are played by Hamid Animashon and Nigel Lindsay. Now, I always have a soft spot for the gangsters in Kiss Me Kate. There's something about them. They are the main comic relief, although it's not a serious play or show, so I don't know why I said that, but they are just something else, and those two together were just a match made in heaven, because they were silly but not too loved it. And I would have 100% enjoyed about 3 more reprises of Brush Up Your Shakespeare, although they'd never been written. Rude. They just made me laugh so much, stage, much to the disapproval of the person I was sat next to. Oh, bless. Anyway, they were just a joy to watch. Other people I wanted to mention, just to pull out another couple of names, we had Jack Butterworth, who plays Paul. He was amazing. No need to say anything else. If you've watched any of the promo shots of Too Darn Hot, Paul is the man who leads that song. He starts it off, and I just really enjoyed his performance in that song. How they had the energy to carry on after that number had finished, I do not know. There is a reason why that number needs like so much applause after it. One, because it is bloody amazing, but secondly, just so that they get a rest on the stage, because they put everything out in that first number in Act 2, and then they've got to go and do his second half. It's just insane. Congratulations. But I did want to give Jack his dues because he was just amazing. And the same with Josie Benson. She plays Hattie, and she is the voice essentially that starts off Act 1. She starts another opening, and again her voice was absolutely insane, and I just enjoyed her role throughout the show. Hattie and Paul are kind of like the helpers, if you will. Not the right word, but the right word is not coming to me on a Sunday afternoon at nearly like 8 o'clock at night. But they work with each other, but also essentially for Fred and Lily. I don't know how to describe it, but I enjoyed both of them working together and separately, and their vocals and their energy and everything was just top notch. That could be the same said for the ensemble. The ensemble of this show are incredible. There are a few familiar faces for me personally, both from previous Barbican shows, but also from previous shows that I've seen. There was a couple of Crazy For You alums in there, which is always nice to see because that show was something else, and to have people in there was really, really nice. It's safe to say that I absolutely adored watching this production of this show. It's an amazing show, an excellent cast. I have not, and I said this previously in the last video, my mental health and my well-being has not been the best recently for different reasons, and the moment I sat in the Barbican seats and the overture started on this show, it was like everything had just been lifted off me. And yeah, I am so so grateful to theatre that I have that safety net, that help. They should really truly put this show on the NHS because it was just perfect. Anyway, enough of me praising this show for all it is worth. If you have the chance to see the show between now and when it closes on the 14th of September, please go and watch it. If I have the chance to get another ticket before it closes, I will be grabbing it with both hands and clutching it directly to my chest. It is an underrated musical, I feel, and yeah, go and watch it. Go and get your tickets. Just go now. Stop watching this video and just go and watch it. Anyway, I'm gonna leave you alone here, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you come back next time. But there we are. I shall see you soon. Cheerio, farewell, goodbye, love you lots. Mwah. Bye.